Good morning. This is Dave Ford, Director of Public Works, here this morning with you on Coffee and Connections. I'd like to take a few minutes and talk about some ongoing projects and some new projects that are going to be starting this summer. So with that, I'll start with one of the projects, road projects, up in North Wolfeboro Road. We are now currently working on drainage and road improvements. That project will continue for about another month. And our hope is to be base paving the rest of North Wolfeboro Road up to Diamond Corner. And at this point, we'd like to let that road sit, and then next spring we'll do a complete overlay of Pickering from Diamond Corner to Route 28 on North Wolfeboro Road. That's a big project, and most of our other projects have been completed already. Trotting track was overlaid and striped, and all the side slopes were seeded. As College Road was done, also overlaid this year, and we're still finishing up some punch list items on that road. And Keewaydon Road was also overlaid this year. So those are the projects on the roadside that were done. Moving downtown, we had a couple projects. The big one is going to be dockside building renovations. As you may be aware, we appropriated $150,000 last year, and then $150,000 this year. Total project cost is $300,000, and what we're going to be doing is renovating about half of the dockside restaurant building. We're going to be putting in 2 new upgraded women's and men's public restrooms. Each one will have 3 units, stalls, and we'll have ADA accessibility and baby changing stations, as well as sinks, and hopefully a big improvement for us downtown. At the same time, we're working on that building. We're also looking at the docks themselves and the wharfs which are around the docks. We had done kind of an inventory, found out where we have some problems, and we are looking at the potential of expanding these. Right now we're working on the permits, and our hope is to be doing some of this work next year, and we are preparing the plans and permits so that we could get potentially a grant. So we are looking for an application for a boat infrastructure grant to help fund that project. Moving down the list, another project that was started last year, which was on Pine Street, and what we did is we replaced the water line. This year our schedule is to finish the road with reconstructing the road and also the curb and sidewalk. So right now Pine Street's kind of a mess, left off from the driveway at Dunkin' Donuts up by Gary's Barber up to Crescent Lake Avenue. So our hope, we signed the contract just yesterday on that one. So Lyman Construction will be doing that, and their hope is to mobilize the last week of August and to get that work all done by October 1st. And that again will be new curb and sidewalk and all new roadway. The other big project, and probably the biggest one, is Pleasant Valley Road. Bridge reconstruction. As some of you may be aware, Pleasant Valley Road is almost 2.5, 3 miles long, and it's basically a dead end. While we have some Class 6 roads at the end, it is basically a dead end, and we do have a major crossing, and the bridge has been approved by New Hampshire DOT, has gone out to bid. RM Piper will be our contractor on that. We have signed the contract, and they're going to begin work later this summer, early fall, and they'll be putting in a temporary road and a temporary bridge so that they can replace the 2 dual steel culverts with a reinforced concrete bridge. That work will occur over the winter and be completed by the springtime. That is a rather big project. It's $1.2 million with 80% of the funding coming from New Hampshire DOT. Again, another big project, and so people who live out in Pleasant Valley Road should anticipate that this fall, and they may have some delays. As always, if anyone has any questions about capital projects, or if you have an issue, please feel free to call the office. My secretary would be there all the time at 569-8176. Thank you for listening. Have a good day. Welcome back. This is Dave Ford, Public Works Director for the town of Wolfeboro, here at Coffee Connections. And this morning I have with me Mike Steiner, who is going to introduce himself and talk a little bit about his experiences in Wolfeboro and maybe some questions for me. Hey, Mike, here you go.
Thanks, Dave. So I've been coming to Wolfeboro for about 4 decades with my family. We're down in New York City, and so it's great to come up here. Um, what's happening in New York is there are a lot of bike lanes that are being put in place, and I'm curious, Dave, if that is something on your agenda for the future.
Excellent question. Actually, I'm going to set me up for that one because we are definitely, we have a pathways committee in Wolfeboro who for years has been developing off-road paths in Sewell Woods and over towards Abenaki. And we've been trying to connect those paths. And also, we're trying to make biking safer for experienced bikers as well as family bikers. In the downtown area, we just got approval from DOT, New Hampshire Department of Transportation, to install signs to remind drivers that bicycle have a right-of-way. So if they're in the road and they can take the full lane, especially in our downtown area. Normally, if traffic is moving, they have to give you 4 feet off your shoulder. So people should be aware that's a state law in New Hampshire, and we are trying to do in better. For instance, on Center Street, which we just finished, we created a more narrow traffic lanes. So we went from 11 feet to 10 feet and then gave an extra 2 feet on the other side of the fog line. So it gives a little bit more room for bikers. And again, the intent is we're working with New Hampshire DOT on a major project from Pickering Corner or Center Street all the way up to the high school, in which we want to create the same cross-section so that pedestrians walking can be on the sidewalk and experienced bikers can be in the road but have a shoulder to work on. So that is our goal. We're working on increasing shoulders to allow biking, and also on our rural roads like Wambach Road and Sewell Road, we have a symbol which says a sharrow. It shows a picture of a bicycle and an arrow. So we try to remind motorists, please slow down and allow biking in the road. So we are kind of doing a couple things. We don't have the money the big cities do, in which they can do some really nice things,
Yes.
Which is impressive. But as a small town, we are trying to improve that.
That's unbelievable. That's great news. It's just going to make more fun for everybody that comes to the region, and I hope that the bikers too, abide by the rules and yield to the pedestrians. In New York, we're getting there, but technically, bikes need to adhere to mostly the same laws as cars. So I think that's an important part of the whole package. So speaking of pedestrians, Dave, I was wondering if I've never seen them, and everybody that I observe is very, very respectful of the pedestrian laws. But do you think there's any reason to put a traffic light in town?
Another great question. One of our claims to fame in Wolfeboro is we're the oldest resort in America, but the other one is we don't even have a traffic light in town. We've been resistant to that. Traffic kind of creates its own stops. So in our downtown area where we have multiple crosswalks, we do ask pedestrians to use the crosswalks, and most drivers do stop for pedestrians, which is a very good thing. But in a busy summer days, we can't have traffic backing up. So in our long-term plan, we do not see a need for traffic lights in the downtown area. As I talked about, the big road coming in, Route 28, where it turns at Center Street, which is called Pickering Corner, that's an intersection where we did look at traffic lights. However, after detailed analysis with a steering committee and a lot of concerned citizens, the impacts of a traffic light or a roundabout, that's a big fad now going around, would probably not have the intended impacts of improving traffic, but may still create backups during our busy period. So we are now working with DOT on trying to make Wolfeboro special. We are almost like we want to start a new motto. It's welcome to Wolfeboro, please slow down, enjoy the view. And it's kind of crazy, but DOT saying we can't reduce speed limits until drivers slow down. So we need to encourage drivers to slow down in Wolfeboro, enjoy the beauty, respect the pedestrians, and respect those laws. Remember the days when we went back to driving school?
Yes.
And remember what's the law says? If there's a crosswalk and there's a pedestrian in the crosswalk, isn't there a law?
Yeah, stop.
Stop. So that's we'd like to see, and most people do it. So pay attention. If you're in Wolfeboro and there's a crosswalk coming up, anticipate someone may be stopping because we do respect the laws here. Again, that's great. Appreciate you visiting from New York, and glad to hear you've been here for 4 decades, and hopefully your family will continue coming.
It's our favorite place on earth.
Great.
Yep, we're our favorite place on earth. We're happy to keep coming back summer after summer.
Thanks for joining us on Coffee Connections, and we'll see you next month.